Music in my life. Funny but true, as I'm about to show you, music for me is much like crewel work, which is a traditional freestyle embroidery. A 2-ply worsted wool yarn crewel is used for sewing the design onto pure linen cloth, the fabric of my life. We're approaching the season of nativity and rebirth, and it is fitting to reflect upon the ecosystem into which I was born circa the commencement of World War II. The precise timing of my passage from a passive past as I crossed guiltlessly over the border into a world that values the appreciation of human experience was midnight 01/14/1939. In this new dispensation, I was transformed into a persona separated postpartum from the umbilical cord that carried essential supplies for my cellular structure prior to my entry into the new world. Adeste fidelis leti triumphantis, venite venite in Bethlehem, natum videte regem angelorum venite adoremus. The choirs of angels were still singing in acclamation of a special birth celebrated in December, 20 days earlier. It is therefore unsurprising, absent maternal deprivation, that I was comforted by the love of music and the joy of neighborly goodwill that characterizes the season. Like other parents, mine inculcated in me an appreciation of music by two methods. Firstly, I, like my grandson Matthew, received instructions at an early age on the rudiments of the piano. Secondly, I was encouraged to sing at home and at Kingston College, my father's alma mater, and was a member of their exceptional chapel choir until a tryst of nature, the range of my voice changed. The chapel choir today is even more highly esteemed. Their 2022 Christmas concert was introduced by the distinguished veteran TV and radio broadcaster, my friend Tony McLeod. As I approached my teens, I was still struggling with the Royal Academy of Music examinations. But I persisted, not only because the attendance of girls at Mademoiselle Hippolyta's studio increased, but because my adolescent admiration and curiosity about nature eased the distraction. The pastoral lyrics and melodious tone of Frank Sinatra was a medium for meditation, and I dreamed of the beauty of love and of nature. There's a tree in the meadow with a stream drifting by, and carved upon that tree I see, I love you till I die. The restlessness of youth, the complexity of competing affections, and the parochial constraints of life on an island drove me to a realignment that trended towards, quote, the imagined glamour of the unknown ancient world. And frequently, I would sail away with Bing Crosby and Peggy Lee to the China Sea. I'd love to get you on a slow boat to China, all to myself alone, get you and keep you in my arms evermore, leave all your lovers weeping on the faraway shore. No one is gossipier than a female French professor, and I was making tremendous strides in my conversation classes and in French drama, music and song. The romantic ballads sung in the granular voice of Nat King Cole became easier to understand, to memorize, and to repeat. Darling, je vous aime beaucoup, je ne sais pas what to do. Well, Mr. King Cole may not have known what to do, but my most admired sultry seductress, Eartha Kitt, had enchanting ideas on the subject of French loving. Entranced, I followed her lead into the coziness of making out under the bridges in Paris, a location not as explicitly risque, I suppose, as Place Pigalle. I recall that Miss Kitt and I had a chance encounter one Saturday afternoon at the Kingston Pegasus Pool Lounge in Jamaica. Sous les ponts de Paris, lorsque descend la nuit. Sous les ponts de Paris avec vous, I'll make your dream come true. Finding the ideal love match, about which we all know, is challenging. What if only it happened to be a dream come true? The searching is exhausting and the uncertainty debilitating. The male's defensive mechanism is often dissimulation, summed up in the word pretending. Because just before you bite the bullet, panic strikes and conventional wisdom dictates running away, which comes relative to mind but is difficult to enact. So enter the Platters, with a tune and lyrics that are both meaningful, romantic, a la dancing rent-a-tile. Oh yes, I'm the great pretender, pretending that I'm doing well. My need is such, I pretend too much. I'm lonely, but no one can tell. I've played the game, but to my real shame, you've left me to grieve all alone. If one survives this phase, then it's slam dunk, which means that you have hit the jackpot and have made up your mind. The time has come when it's either eggs or young ones. If you have seen the movie 10, you would remember when the protagonist spies the girl of his dreams through the window of a passing automobile. He immediately recognizes that she epitomizes the sole partner of his dreams. Not to mention the obvious, she was a perfect physical specimen with a rating of 11 out of 10. Bo Derek lights up the screen, and at that very moment, in the background you can hear the impetuous drumming of Ravel's exquisite composition, Bolero, played by the Royal Philharmonic. It's phenomenal that our appreciation of music is enhanced by its association with some emotional moment that is forever treasured. In this instance, my wife and I recalled as we sat watching the movie the thrill that sent shivers up our spines when we first heard the same piece played live at the Royal Albert Hall in London. The drum beat, the enervating passion of the string instruments, and the dramatic clash of cymbals cannot ever be erased from our memory. At least, so we hoped. The musical stitches blended with, enhanced, beautified, and strengthened the very fabric of our lives. I revelled in the idea that 10 years before we were enchanted by its musicality. But after I returned to Jamaica and was with Exxon, I was deeply involved with charity and the arts as part of the good corporate image, a gesture to social and cultural development of the country. I was allowed to choose the ways that were pleasing to me and in which my wife and I were genuinely interested. This included the vice chairmanship of the Council of the Handicapped and the chairman of the talented and much acclaimed the National Chorale of Jamaica. The Governor-General was its patron, and the charming wife of the Custos Rotalorum was a board member. When I had migrated to England, my love of music had grown as I indulged my fascination by taking advantage of being close to the center of European literature, drama, dance, and music, regularly attending the best shows and performances, of which there were a plenitude in England in the 60s. It began, I believe, with The Sound of Music, theatre that could be enjoyed with the family. England opened for us the opportunity to be familiar with the bar, a double entendre, the bar of music, of law, and of course of liquor. My heart, however, will be blessed with the sound of music. Even with all that, when I'm asked how we knew we were in love, my answer borrows from my favorite Johnny Mathis song, because it's not for me to say you love me. It's not for me to say you'll always care. Here for the moment I can hold you fast and dream that love will last. Perhaps the glow of love will grow with every passing day, or we may never meet again. But then, it's not for me to say. There is one more thing I should say at the end of this musical essay. And that is the extent to which Monica and I enjoyed dancing. And we were not shy, as over the years we moved in tandem with each other, that made our performances on the dance floor, whatever the tempo, seamless. It was also effortless for us and pleasant for those who appeared to be entertained looking on. Just before leaving the UK, we attended a reception at Buckingham Palace and danced in the throne room to the musical strings of fiddlers, happily not on the roof of the palace, but for greater convenience the orchestra performed from the mezzanine balcony, suspended above the waltzing couples. Monica in a full-on, floor-skimming, cerise ostrich feathers around the hemline evening gown, and I was attired in white tie. They were playing Dmitri Shostakovich's Waltz No. 2, arranged for the string orchestra. Music is my life and speaks to my love. We could, fair ladies, my lords, have danced all night.